Today we're going to be talking about what does your arm swing actually say about your running form and how can you improve your arm swing based off what it looks like right now. Your arms control your legs, so this is really important that you get down. I'm Dr. Lisa. I'm a physical therapist that helps runners prevent and treat injuries. And when I do a running analysis, the first thing I look at is what is the head, the shoulders, the arm swing, and the trunk doing before I even look at the lower half. That's because the arms control the legs. So think about it. If you're running faster or you want to run faster, you're gonna pump your arms harder versus if you're running slower, you might slow down that arm swing. But what I see a ton is an arm swing that's gone wrong. It's just wasting energy. It's not as efficient, and it can be really hard to improve your arm swing if the arms are really not even the cause of why your arm swing is looking like it is. So let me go through a couple examples. Let's talk about the first arm swing that I see often, and that is an arm swing with the elbows out to the side. So usually if the elbows are out to the side, which means they're just not swinging close to the body. So something like this is not necessarily saying the elbows are out to the side. It's pretty evident. It's more so like this motion here. And a lot of that actually does not have to do with the arms. It has more to do with the hips and the pelvis. Think about when a child or infant is learning to walk for the first time. They're walking with their arms out to the side, and that's a lot of balance, yes, but also they don't have hip strength and trunk strength so they can bring their arms by their side. It's very similar to running with your arms out and elbows out to the side. We need to develop trunk and hip strength so you can bring your arms down and not feel off balance. So if your arms are swinging out to the side, elbows are out to the side, you really should work on hip, trunk, core, all of that, just so you can bring your arms down. The next thing I see often is too much rotation happening at the shoulders. So when you run, let's think about just swinging our arms in place. So if you're just swinging your arms in place, you're not running, you're just practicing your arm swing, you're gonna basically be swinging your arms forward and backwards. Now, once you start taking a stride, so you're striding, you're running, your thoracic spine is now gonna start rotating. And your thoracic spine is connected to your rib cage. So it's gonna start rotating as you bring your arm forward and backwards. That's gonna cause rotation of the trunk, not necessarily causing this. So if we see this, more of a cross body, meaning the fists are coming across the midline, that usually is an indication that the thoracic spine is tight, which just means that you're using your shoulders to rotate versus your thoracic spine. Now you really want to make sure that you have a good motion of that thoracic spine specifically into rotation, because again, that thoracic spine is rotating as you bring your arm forward and backwards, and that rotation also triggers counter rotation of the pelvis to move the legs. So that's exactly how the arms connect to the legs. So really important that we work on some thoracic rotation. So as you swing your arms, you can start to rotate your trunk versus this motion here, swinging your arms across your body. Another very common running arm swing pattern is almost like too much arm swing on one side and not as much on the other. Now, if you record yourself running, you'll be able to see this a lot better, specifically from the back or the front view, not necessarily feeling it as you're running, because usually this compensation happens over time. It's not necessarily something that you feel when you're running. So when I see this, it's usually a lot more motion of the elbow coming backwards and forwards, and it's more so on one side compared to the other side. So you can usually see this, the arm is not coming back as far versus this side, the elbow is swinging back a lot further, and it's almost like pumping extra or excessively. Now, this is normally the cause of stiffness of the opposite hip. So think about thoracic spine and pelvis, how the counter rotation happens. Now, if the hip is not able to get in that full hip extension with the leg behind you, it can't get behind you. What's happening is the opposite arm is trying to make up for that loss of motion by swinging it more excessively, I call it, or more forward and backwards, because your body wants to stay in rhythm. It wants to stay in that rhythm, left, right, as you take strides. So if there's tightness in one hip, the opposite arm is going to make up for that motion by swinging more excessively. Best way to see this is just record yourself running from the back or the front, slow it down, and just compare the left and the right arm swing from the back and really see what your elbow is doing. Now, to fix this, you're not necessarily even messing with the arm swing, you're more so looking at the legs. So if the cause, again, we're always chasing after the cause or the source of the pain or the source of what's happening. And in this case, it's at the hip joint, so it's hip tightness. So we really just need to work on that hip mobility versus even messing with the arm swing. Those are the most common arm swing patterns that I see when it's not looking like a forward and back motion with your elbows staying close to your side. Hopefully that gives you more insight. If you do need to improve your hip mobility or your core strength, make sure you check out these videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.